spring, one sunny day, yeah, my baby left me alone. She went away. Now she's gone. I don't worry, because I'm sitting on top of the world. Baby, call me up, her from down in El Paso. Said, come on, daddy, oh Lord, I need you so. Now she's gone, but I don't worry, because I'm sitting on top of the world. Let's go all the way around, come on. Sam Cobb of the Manly. Give it up. Go on, Gresham, get you some. Go on, man. Danny Dozier. Don't like my peaches, baby, don't you shake my tree. Get out of my orchard, baby, let my peaches be. Yes, now she's gone, but I don't worry, because I'm sitting on top of the world. Baby, don't you come out running, raising out your hand. Lord, I'm gonna get me a woman, baby, like you got your man. Yes. Now she's gone, and I don't worry, because I'm sitting on top of the world. Because I'm sitting on top of the world. Hey. Yeah, thank you guys.
head. For the thing that I want most in life's the thing that I spread your tiny wings and fly away, and take the snow back with you where it came from on that day. What I love forever is untrue, and if I could, you know that I would fly away with you. To say that he'll only break my heart again should I decide to stay. So little snowbird, take me with you when you go to that land of gentle breezes where the peaceful waters flow. Spread your tiny wings and fly away, and take the snow back with you where it came from on that day. What I love forever is untrue, and if I could, you know that I would fly away with you. Yeah, if I could, you know that I would fly away with you. Song. I think you will too. It's knowing that your door is always open and your path is free to walk. That makes me tend to leave my sleeping bag rolled up and packed behind your couch. And it's knowing I'm not shackled by forgotten bones and bonds, quicksands that I've tried upon sunlight. That keeps you in the back roads by the rivers of my memory, that keeps you ever gentle on my mind. It's not clinging to the rocks and ivy planted on some column now that binds me, or something that somebody said because they thought we fit together walking. It's just knowing that the world will not be cursed or forgiven when I walk along some railroad track and find that you're moving on the back roads by the rivers of my memory, For hours you're just still on my mind. Through the wheat fields and clothesline and junkyard and the highway come between us. Some other woman, other fellow, other fellow, get together walking. I still might run in silence, tears of joy might stain my face, and the summer sun might burn me till I'm blind. But not to where I cannot see you walking on the back road, by the rivers flowing gentle on my mind. I dip my cup of soup back from a gurgling, crackling cauldron in some train yard. My beard a rustling coal pile and a dirty hat pulled low across my face. Through cup tans round the tin can, I pretend to hold you to my breast and find that you're waiting on the back road by the rivers of my memories. Smile is gentle on my mind, gentle on my mind.
Daddy came running down the railroad tracks, and boy, you won't believe your ears. There's a picket on the front porch of Johnny Stacks. He ain't played like that in years. Ain't played nothing like that in years. His heart is sounding like that old guitar. Lord, just listen to it ring. All he ever played was a blues before. Love can do wonderful things. Johnny's got some brand new strings. They say she's a waitress down at
shore. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, you know I'll be there forevermore. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, I thank God there's a heaven and a ringing in my soul, and my soul's set free. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh. Better get to church and listen to the preacher. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, get right with God and he'll be your teacher. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, I thank God there's a heaven and a ringing in my soul, and my soul set free. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh. Well, brother, you better get right with God. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, why here upon this earth do try? Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem?
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Club Possum Music Show, coming to you live from the Club Possum Event Center, just off the Court Square in beautiful downtown Mountain View, Arkansas. All of our Club Possum Music shows are broadcast live on the Club Possum Event Center YouTube channel and Facebook page, and on our local nonprofit radio station, KWMV 88.5 FM. The Club Possum Music Show is a production of Ozark Roots Music and Art, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving the local music culture here in the Mountain View area. Support for Ozark Roots Music and Art is provided in part by the Arkansas Arts Council, the agency of the Department of Arkansas Heritage, and the National Endowment for the Arts. We are also supported by generous donations from many of our local-owned businesses and the many fine Possum Patreon supporters that help keep our local music alive and kicking through regular monthly donations, and we do have quite a few of them in our audience tonight. If you're interested in becoming a Possum patron, you can head on over to www.patreon.com/clubpossum for more information or to get signed up. Generous donations from our audience members are also very much appreciated. We have a tip bucket located here in the back of the room if you're joining us in person, or if you're joining us online or you're tuned in to KWMV, you can make a donation online at paypal.me/OzarkRootsMusic. And to our in-person audience, we do allow you to take photos and record videos, but we do ask that you please turn off your flash. Now tonight we have a great, talented performer we don't get to hear here very often, but we're always happy to have him here. He's been a part of this community for a little over 50 years now, and he's a great singer, songwriter. And fun fact about him, if you ever want to know anything about living off the grid, talk to him. Will you please make welcome Mr. Dave Smith.
Hey, everybody. Lightning struck, the team run wild, tore up the harness in a brand new plow. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. The runaway team fenced down, went all the way to town. For a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Hard times, hard land, try to make a living, but I'll be damned. Drought, heat, and hail tend to get the upper hand. Scratch that ground, pray for rain. Sometimes the trouble ain't worth the pain. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Wife took sick, got the flu. Lord, all the trouble that I've been through. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. 4 kids down, got the mumps. Sometimes life sure hands out the lumps. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, side buster. Hard times, hard land, try to make a living, but I'll be damned. Drought, heat, and hail tend to get the upper hand. Scratch that ground, pray for rain. Sometimes the trouble ain't worth the pain. It's a hard road, trying to make a dollar, sod buster. Thank you very much. Good to see you all here. Sure enough, I'm Dave Smith. My parents were not very imaginative when it came to making names for kids. And I put some flyers around town. They said Dave Smith, storyteller. I do tell stories. I tell some actual stories, but I like songs that tell stories. So a lot of the stories that I tell tonight will be in a version of a song. I also specialize in songs you never heard before. So you'll be hearing a bunch of songs tonight that you never heard on the radio, because there are some great songwriters out in the world that they don't write songs that fit exactly the bill to be on the radio. So I kind of specialize in learning those songs. Here's one. Y'all had supper already? All right, it's a good thing. This song was written in 1906. My friend Kay Thomas gave this song to me. She found it somewhere. And you would think it was written yesterday. It's called Some Little Bug. In these days of indigestion, it is oftentimes a question of what to eat or what to leave alone. Every microbe and bacillus is trying hard to kill us, and in time they all will claim us for their own. There are germs of every kind in all the food that you can find in the market or upon the bill of fare. Drinking water's just as risky as the so-called deadly whiskey, and sometimes it's a mistake to breathe the air. 'Cause some little bug is gonna find you someday. Some little bug is going to creep inside you someday. Then he'll call for his bug friends, and your troubled times will end. Some little bug is going to find you someday. Now that tasty green cucumber has most everybody's number, and the sweet corn has a system of its own. And that radish looks nutritious, but its behavior is quite vicious, and a doctor will be coming to your home. Eating lobster cooked or plain is only flirting with ptomaine, while the oyster really has a lot to say. And the clams they put in chowder make the angels sing the louder, for they know they'll be with you right away. 'Cause some little bug is gonna find you someday. Some little bug is going to creep inside you someday. Eat that tasty sliced pineapple, and the sexton dust the chapel. One little bug is going to find you someday. When cold storage vaults I visit, I must always ask, what is it makes poor mortals fill their systems with such stuff? For breakfast, prunes are handy if a stomach pump is handy, and a doctor can be summoned soon enough. Eat that plate of fine pig knuckles, and the headstone cutter chuckles while the grave digger makes a mark upon his cuff. Eat that tasty sliced bologna, and you'll wear a wood kimono while your relatives are scrapping for your stuff. 'Cause some little bug is gonna find you someday. Some little bug is going to get inside you someday. Eat that tasty, oh yeah, eat that tasty bowl of chili. On your breast you'll hold a lily. Some little bug is going to find you someday. Now those tasty foods they mix will float you across the river Styx, or have you climbing up the Milky Way. And the meals they serve in courses mean a hearse and 2 black horses, so before a meal some people always pray. Fried liver's nice, but mind you, grapes breed appendicitis, and the juice leads to gastritis, but there's only death to greet you either way. Fried liver's nice, but mind you, friends will follow close behind you, and the newspapers will have nice things to say. 'Cause some little bug is gonna find you someday. Some little bug is going to creep inside you someday. Then he'll call for his bug friends, and your troubled times will end. Some little bug is going to find you someday. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Here's another song you probably never heard, written by a guy named Hugh Crestwood. I got it from my friend Brian Bowers, who's a really great auto harp player from Washington State. It's called, and it's about the tree that grows up in the Sierra Nevada mountains. It's one of the oldest things on earth, the bristlecone pine. Way up in the mountains on a high timber line is a twisted old tree called the bristlecone pine. The wind there is bitter, it cuts like a knife, and keeps that old tree holding on for dear life. And hold on it does, standing its ground, standing while empires rise up and fall down. When Jesus was gathering lambs to his fold, that tree was already 1,000 years old. Now the way that I've lived, there's no way to tell when I die if I'm going to heaven or hell. And when my life's over, it'll suit me just fine to sleep at the foot of the bristlecone pine. And as I slowly return to this earth, what little this body of mine might be worth, it'll soon start to nourish the roots of that tree, and it will partake of the essence of me. And who knows what'll happen as the centuries turn, some small spark of me might continue to burn, as long as the sun does continue to shine down on the limbs of the bristlecone pine. Now the way that I've lived, there ain't no way to tell when I die if I'm going to heaven or hell. And when my life's over, it'll suit me just fine to sleep at the foot of the bristlecone pine. Way up in the mountains on a high timber line is a twisted old tree called the bristlecone pine. Thank you. Here's a song I got from Don Mellon. Everybody knows Don, famous Don Mellon of Mellon's Country Store fame. He brought me this song. He brought it to me because I own and use a 1939 Alice Chalmers Model B tractor sitting in my barn right now. This is a song, it was kind of done by a bluegrass group. I'm trying to think of the name of them. Anyway, it's called Sweet Alice Chalmers. Sweet Alice Chalmers, I rode you so long, I feel like I'm glued to your wheel. Your rusty exhaust pipe, she hums me a song that sounds just as bad as I feel. 'Cause day after day, Lord, ain't nothing to do but point this old tractor ahead. I wish I was drinking a bottle or two and loving some sweet thing instead. I got a sweet running tractor, a bore-bottom plow, but they can't take the place of my St. Joseph gal. I had me a pretty woman from up by St. Joe. We lived over yonder away. She swore that she loved me with body and soul, till she just up and left me one day. A man could go crazy, stone deaf and blind, fighting a four-bottom plow, watching the black dirt roll under behind, with the sun beating down on his brow. I got a sweet running tractor, a four-bottom plow, but they can't take the place of my St. Joseph Gab. Sweet Alice Chalmers, I've rode you so long, I feel like I'm glued to your wheel. Your rusty exhaust pipe, she hums me a song that sounds just as bad as I feel. Ooh. Thank you. Oh. Let us now bless the carpenter and the things that he made, and the way that he lived by the tools of his trade. I can still hear his hammer keeping 10-penny time, working by the hour till the day that he died. He was tough as a crowbar, he was quick as a chisel, fair as a plain lord and true as a level. He was straight as a chalk line, right as a rule. He was square with the world, he took good care of his tools. And he worked his hands in wood from the cradle to the coffin, with a rare kind of love that you don't see too often. He built boats out of wood, big boats, working in a shipyard, a mansion on the hill and a birdhouse in the backyard. He was tough as a crowbar, he was quick as a chisel, fair as a plain lord and true as a level. He was straight as a chalk line, right as a rule. He was square with the world, he took good care of his tools. He said anything that's worth cutting down a tree for is worth doing right. Don't the Lord love a 2x4? And if you asked him how to do something, he'd say just like Noah built the ark. You gotta hold your mouth right and never miss your mark. He was tough as a crowbar, he was quick as a chisel, square as a plain lord and true as the level. He was straight as a crop line, right as a rule. He was square with the world, he took good care of his tools. Thank you. Well, let's do something on the old bango here. This is the old 5-string banjo, of course. I play a style of banjo playing. Most of you are familiar with it around here, called frailing or clawhammer banjo, where instead of picking the strings with metal picks on your fingers, you kind of, they call it knocking or rapping the banjo, because you kind of hit them on the downstroke with your fingers. Yeah, rapping. They call it rapping the banjo. That's where rap music came from, as a matter of fact. Oh, yeah. The banjo was brought back from obscurity. The banjo was super popular in the 1800s. And it kind of died out around 1900. But in the 1920s, Uncle Dave Macon in Nashville, Tennessee, brought the banjo back and made it a popular instrument again. In fact, in the 1920s, there were whole orchestras of banjos, like with a big bass banjo, giant bass banjo, down to these little bitty banjos. And I'd love to hear one of those orchestras. There was even there was an instrument called a banjarine. It was like a banjo, only easier to peel, I guess. Uncle Dave was raised in the entertainment district in Nashville, where the minstrel shows took place and vaudeville shows, and his parents ran a hotel, so he was around all these musicians all the time and stayed in the hotel. That's where he got interested in this. He went on. When he had to start working for a living, instead of playing music, he had a wagon company, and he hauled freight all around eastern and western Tennessee and Kentucky. He wrote this song about that because when the end of his career was when trucks started hauling freight, and they put the wagoners out of business. So he wrote in this song, he says, "I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone." He thought he'd outlive those trucks. It's called Heaven to Hell. 2, 3, 4. I remember the year I would band a hall. It was back in the summertime. Back in them good old days with that good whiskey, beer, and wine. I could walk right into any saloon. I was strictly up to time. And I never seen a night when I couldn't make it home and haul it to the end of the line. Been a wagoning for over 20 years and I'm working on the farm. I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone. Oh, Lord, I tell you, since the bone dry come, you just can't get whiskey that's good. So I give up all of my drinking and I've gone to serving God. I love to go to big meetings. I'll tell you the reason why. I love to sing and pray to God, sweet heaven, when I die. Been a wagoning for over 20 years and I'm working on the farm. I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone. Now an auto truck so quick and fast, while a wagon that has no speed. But 4 good wheels and a Mitchell wagon is the safest, oh yes indeed. I'm on my way to glory. Want to tell you just how I feel. I'd rather go to heaven riding in a I'd rather go to heaven riding in a wagon than to hell in an automobile. Been a wagoning for over 20 years and I'm working on the farm. I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone. Been wagoning for over 20 years and I'm working on the farm. I'll bet $100 to a half a ginger cake I'll be here when the trucks is gone. Oh, hot dog. Let's see here. There's a guy here, Sean Camp. Sean Camp was in town last spring, I guess. I emceed a show that he did at the Folk Center. He's a great songwriter. He did this song. It just really got me. There's a lot of songs. If you listen to Civil War songs from the Civil War period, they're all real jolly and happy. Most of them. Lorena's not, but a lot of them are. Martial songs. But the Civil War was not a very good time for a lot of people. So Sean Camp wrote this one. He pointed out that that's when, it was during the Civil War that they used opiates and stuff. And that kept a lot of soldiers from going completely crazy from pain. Morphine, that's when they invented morphine during the Civil War. That's the word I was looking for. They called it soldier's joy. That would make them happy instead of sad. This is called Soldier's Joy, 1863. First I thought a snake had bit me, it happened mighty quick. It was a bullet bit my leg and right off I got sick. Came to in a wagon load of 10 more wounded men. 5 was dead by the time we reached that bloody tent. Give me some of that soldier's joy, you know what I mean. I don't want to hurt no more, my leg is turning green. A doctor come and he looked at me. This is what he said. Your dancing days are over, son. It's a good thing you ain't dead. Then he went to work with a carving knife. Sweat fell from his brow. About killed me trying to save my life as he dug that lead ball out. Give me some of that soldier's joy. Ain't you got no more? Hand me down my walking cane. I ain't cut out for war. Red blood run right through my veins, it run all over the floor. It run right down his apron strings like a river out the door. He handed me a bottle, said, son, drink all that you can. He turned away and then he turned right back with a hacksaw in his hand. Give me some of that soldier's boy, you know what I like. It bear down on that fiddle, boy, just like it's Friday night. Give me some of that soldier's joy, you know what I crave. I'll be hitting that soldier's joy until I'm in my grave. Wrong chord. Thank you. Well, I dreamed that I had died and gone to my reward, a job in the heavenly textile mill on the Golden Boulevard. And the mill was made out of marble, the machines were made out of gold, and nobody ever grew tired, nobody ever grew old. The mill was built in a garden, no dust or dirt could be found. The air was clean and it smelled so sweet from the trees and the flowers all around. And it was quiet and peaceful in heaven. There never was a clatter or a boom. And we heard the most beautiful music as we worked at the shuttle and the loom. And the mill was made out of marble. The machines were made out of gold. And nobody ever grew tired, nobody ever grew old. And there was no unemployment in heaven. We worked steady all through the year. There always was food for the children, and we were never haunted by fear. And the mill was made out of marble, the machines were made out of gold. And nobody ever grew tired, nobody ever grew old. When I awoke from a dream about heaven, I wondered if there ever would be a place like that down here on earth for people like you and me. And the mill was made out of marble, the machines were made out of gold. And nobody ever grew tired, nobody ever grew old. Thank you. I don't know for sure, but I think that song probably came from North or South Carolina, where the mill industry was over in that part of the country. Long gone now. Let's see what I got here. Some of you have seen this before. You folks from off. This is called a picking bow or a mouth bow. It's pretty neat. My buddy Bob, who's sitting in the back, made this thing for me. It's just a stick of walnut with a G guitar string strung across it. And, well, you get a little note from the guitar string, but it gets kind of boring because it's just that one note. You know, you can play that, but it get tiring after a while. But somebody figured out, some lonely Neanderthal hunter, I expect, was not having any luck catching anything. Howdy, folks. Good seats right up the front here. Don't be afraid. I don't. Well, I know that's. So are all these other people, apparently. Come on up here. Don't be bashful. I'll need your social security number before you leave. Anyway, some lonely Neanderthal hunter was probably out trying to catch something one day and didn't have any luck, and he figured out, somebody figured out, that you can put the picking bow up against the side of your mouth and change the shape of your mouth and change the note. So we're going to do a little song here, and y'all can help me. Y'all know this song. It's called Turkey in the Straw. And in the chorus, I'll go, turkey in the straw, and y'all go, ha, 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 turkey in the hay. That's okay. You'll catch on. All right. Well, I had an old dog and he hadn't much sense. He run around the yard a barking at the fence, so I picked up a rock and I hit him on the jaw. He run around the yard singing turkey in the straw, turkey in the straw, turkey in the straw, turkey in the hay. Wake 'em up, shake 'em up, any way at all. Play a little tune called Turkey in the Straw. Pretty, isn't it? Well, late one night on a wagon road with a tired team and a heavy load, I cracked my whip and the lead horse sprung. Said I goodbye to the wagon tongue. Turkey in the straw, turkey in the hay. Wake 'em up, shake 'em up, any way at all. Play a little tune called Turkey in the Straw. You know, I noticed the hay works better than haw. The haw is kind of weak, I gotta say. Well, if fish had feet, frogs had hair, and automobiles went flying through the air, if sweet taters grew on honeysuckle vine, then we'd all have winter in the summertime. Turkey in the straw, turkey in the hay. Wake 'em up, shake 'em up, any way at all. Play a little tune called Turkey in the Straw. I got to apologize for my picking. It was pretty bad. I'm recovering from a shoulder replacement. My thing doesn't work real good yet. But we're working on it. Stay right there. Let's see what else we got. Oh. Celebrating a guy named Glenn Orland. Who remembers Glenn Orland? Raise your. Yeah, a bunch of you do. Anybody who's been around Mountain View a lot remembers Glenn Orland. He was a really interesting guy. He was a rodeo cowboy. At first, he was a working cowboy from the time he was about 15, and then he became a rodeo cowboy. He rode saddle broncs for like 20 years. Unbelievable amount of time to be in the rodeo industry. Then he bought a little ranch up here in Mountain View, or on the mountain, overlooking Mountain View up on Dodd Mountain, and lived here the rest of his life and performed at the folk center quite a bit, and went off to the big cowboy gathering in Elko every year, where he was kind of an honored guest. We miss him a lot. We really do. He told me one time he was on his way up to Cody, Wyoming. Anybody ever been up to the Buffalo Bill Museum up there? They have musicians come, cowboy musicians come and play there occasionally, and they had asked him to come up to Cody. So he drove up there, and he really likes the Mint Bar in Sheridan, Wyoming. If you ever go in Sheridan, go to the Mint Bar, check it out. It's really a neat place, very historic spot. But he went to the Mint Bar, and he was having a beer in there, and there was a Shoshone Indian sitting there, and he got into a conversation with Glenn, and he said, the Indian said, tell you what, he said, how about I tell you a riddle? And if you get the riddle, I'll buy you a beer. If you don't get it, you buy me a beer. And Glenn said, okay. The Indian said, it's my mother's child, but it's not my brother, and it's not my sister. Who is it? Glenn sat there for a while, and he finally said, I don't know. who is it? The Indian said, it's me. So Glenn went on up to Cody. He got up there and he ran into Waddy Mitchell, an old friend of his, a great cowboy poet. And they were in a bar, and Glenn said, tell you what, he said, how about if I tell you a riddle? And if you get it, I'll buy you a beer, and if I get it, you buy me a beer. Waddy said, okay. Glenn said, it's my mother's child, but it's not me. I mean, it's not my sister, and it's not my brother. Who is it? Waddy thought for a minute. He said, I don't know. Who is it? Glenn said, some Indian over there in Sheridan, Wyoming. Yeah. And Glenn knew all these great poems, and I was asked tonight to do one of his poems. I never did it while he was alive. I've known it for years, but I never did it in Mountain View while he was alive because it was kind of Glenn's poem. And it's about the subject of reincarnation. Not that stuff you put in your coffee in the morning, but the concept of coming back as something else after you've passed on. What is There I go. What is reincarnation? Said a cowpoke to his friend. His pal replied, it happens when your life has reached its end. They wash your hair, and they comb your hair and wash your neck and clean your fingernails and lay you in a padded box away from life's travails. The box and you goes in a hole that's been dug in the ground, and then you're only just setting off on your reincarnation around. In a while, some grass may grow upon that tendered mound until one day, on your lonely grave, a single flower is found. Then say a horse should wander by and graze upon this flower that once was you, but now has become your vegetative bower. Now the posy that the horse ate up, along with his other feed, becomes bone and fat and muscle, essential to the steed. But there is a part that he can't use, and so it passes through and finally lays upon the ground this thing that once was you. Then say I should wander by and find this object on the ground. I ponders and I wonders at this thing that I have found. I think about reincarnation and life and death and such, and come away concluding, why, you ain't changed all that much. Yeah. And here's a song that Glenn used to do called Tied a Knot in the Devil's Tail. Way, 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 way. Let's try to change keys a little bit. Way out yonder in the Sierra Peaks where the yellow jack pines grow tall, Buster Jiggs and Sandy Bob had a roundup late last fall. Well, they taken their horses and their cutting irons, maybe a dog or two, and they rounded up every old long-eared calf what come into their view. Now any old calf with long lopped ears what didn't brush up by day had his old hide sizzled and his long ears chiseled in a most artistic way. Now one fine day old Sandy Bob, he laid his Diego down. He said, boys, I'm tired of this cowography. I reckon I'll head for town. Yes, sir. Well, they started out at the Kentucky bar at the head of Whiskey Row, and they wound up down to the depot house about 40 drinks below. Then they headed up and they turned around and went back the other way. I'll tell you the God-forsaken truth, them boys got stewed that day. As they was heading back for camp, packing them a pretty good load, who should they meet but the devil himself just a-prancing down the road. He said, look out, ornery cowboy skunks, you better hunt your hole, 'cause I'm the devil from Hell's Rim Rock, come to gather up your souls. Well, Sandy Bob says, devil be danged, we boys is kinda tight. Before you corral any cowboy souls, you'll have some kind of a fight. Well, Sandy Bob punched a roll it. Sandy Bob punched a hole in his rope, and he swung her straight and true. And he dropped his loop around the devil's horns, and he took his dallies too. Well, Buster Jiggs was a riata man with his gut line coiled up deep, but he built him a loop that he'd run around, and he lassoed the devil's hind feet. Then they tied him up and they necked him down while the irons was a-getting hot, and they lopped and swallered, forked his ears, and branded him a lot. Then they tied him up to it, then they pruned him with a deep horn saw, and knotted his tail for a joke, and then rid off and left him and they're necked up to a blackjack oak. So if you're ever in the Sierra Peaks and you hear some kind of a wail, you'll know it's the devil just a bellering around with a knot tied in his tail. Yeah, boy. Here's a song by one of my favorite songwriters, John McCutcheon wrote this. John, I think he lives in Georgia now. He's originally from Wisconsin, I believe. Great songwriter. I'll be doing a couple more of his songs tonight. He wrote this ostensibly about a pitcher pump. Anybody remember what a pitcher pump is? It used to be on a shallow well or a cistern. And to make it work, the leathers in the pump are actually up in the pump body itself instead of down in the water. So to make it work, you had to pour a little jar of water in there to get the pumps, to get the leathers primed. And then you could pump your water. And when you got done, you had to make sure that you refilled your little jar for the next person. And that's kind of what this is about, but it's all about a lot of the other stuff and maybe a little bit about what Mountain View is about. It's called Water from Another Time. Hey, folks, there's a couple seats right up here. We've been saving them for you. I think your name's on there, as a matter of fact. Oh, hey, okay. New mown hay on a July morn. The grandkids are running through the knee-high corn. A sunburned nose and a scabbed up knee from a rope at the white oak tree. Just another summer's day at Grandma's farm with Grandma's bucket hanging off my arm. You know the old pump's rusty and it works fine, primed with water from another time. It don't take much, but you gotta have some. The old ways help, the new ways come. Leave a little extra for the next in line. Gonna need a little water from another time. Tattered quilt on a goose down bed. Every stitch tells a story, my grandma said. Her mama's nightgown and grandpa's pants and the dress she wore to her high school dance. Now wrapped at night in those patchwork scenes, I waltz with grandma in my dreams. My arms, my heart, my life entwined with water from another time. It don't take much, but you gotta have some. The old ways help, the new ways come. Leave a little extra for the next in line. Gonna need a little water from another time. Newborn cry in the morning air. The past and the future are wedded there. In this wellspring of my sons and daughters, the bone and blood of living water. While Grandpa's hands have gone to dust, like Grandma's pump reduced to rust, their stories quench my soul and mind, like water from another time. It don't take much, but you gotta have some. The old ways help, the new ways come. Leave a little extra for the next in line. Gonna need a little water from another time. It don't take much, but you gotta have some. The old ways help, the new ways come. Leave a little extra for the next in line. Gonna need a little water from another time. Gonna need a little water. Gonna need a little water from another time. Thank you. We were really fortunate here in Mountain View back in the 1980s. Grandpa Jones and his family came to live in Mountain View. That was a big deal. They had a little dinner theater over there on the Jimmy Driftwood Parkway, and Grandpa was a hilarious guy. He was really a funny fellow. He was one time he was working in his yard, which was right near the highway, and this car stopped in the yard, and this lady got out to ask directions and to the folk center or somewhere, and so he told her, and she was getting back in her car. She said, you know, you look just like Grandpa Jones. And Grandpa said, well, if you see him, tell him I'm sorry for him. This is Grandpa's signature song, 8 More Miles to Louisville. I remember the years I began to haul. It was back in the summertime. Back in them good old days with that good whiskey, beer, and wine. I could walk right into any saloon. I was strictly up to time. And I never seen a night when I couldn't make it home and haul it to the end of the line. Been a wagon in for over 20. I already did that song. Wrong song. Man, that's why they give songs different names, so you can tell one from the other. Let's try this one. I rambled round the country wide, my fortune for the fair. Been up and down the 2 coastlines, I've been most everywhere. From Portland east to Portland west and back along the line. I'm on my way to the place that's best, that old hometown of mine. 8 more miles to Louisville, coming into my view. 8 more miles on this old road and I'll never more be blue. I knew someday that I'd come back, I knew it from the start. Now it's 8 more miles to Louisville, the hometown of my heart. Now every boy's got a girl somewhere that he likes best of all. Mine lives down in Louisville, she's long and she's tall. She's the kind that you can't find rambling in the land. I'm on my way this very day to win her heart and hand. 8 more miles to Louisville, just coming into my view. 8 more miles on this old road and I'll never more be blue. I knew someday that I'd come back, I knew it from the start. Now it's 8 more miles to Louisville, the hometown of my heart. I can picture in my mind a place we'll call our home. A humble little hut for 2, we never more will roam. The place that's right for that, my side, is in them bluegrass hills. Oh, gently flows the Ohio through a town called Louisville. 8 more miles to Louisville, coming into my view. 8 more miles on this old road and I'll never more be blue. I knew someday that I'd come back, I knew it from the start. Now it's 8 more miles to Louisville, the hometown of my heart. 8 more miles to Louisville, the hometown of my heart. Thank you. You know, one time there was an ad, there was a want ad in the paper under the job section for a sea captain. And this guy showed up for the interview, and he was wearing a long black coat, and he had a hook instead of a hand, and he had a peg leg, and he had a patch on one eye. And the interviewer said, I must say, you certainly do look the part of a sea captain. Tell me, how'd you lose your leg? Oh, he said, I lost it to a cannonball during a naval engagement. Really? He said, that's interesting. What about your hand? What happened to your hand? Oh, I lost it to a cutlass fighting off a boarding party on my ship. Really? Yeah. He said, what about your eye? What happened to that? Oh, he said, one day I were out on the deck and I was looking up in the yard arms and a seagull flew over and shot in the eye. And the guy said, well, surely that wouldn't cause you to lose your eye. He said, no, but it were the first day I had me hook. Yeah. All right. Let's play something else. Just thought of that today. I've known that joke for years, but it got away. I forgot about it. Here's one. This is one you have heard on the radio if you're my age or so. And all you have to do is hear the first couple of notes, and you know exactly what it is. Some folks say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood, flesh and bone. A mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Go ahead and sing. Another lay older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the Buffalo store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. I picked up a shovel and I walked to the mine. I loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal, and the straw boss said, well, bless my soul, you load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning, it was drizzling rain. Fighting and trouble are my middle name. I got one fist of iron, the other of steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men didn't, and a lot of men died. I was raised in a canebrake by an old mama line. Can't no high-toned woman make me walk the line. You load 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Very good. That's great. Nice to hear you all singing. Here's another really neat song. Some folks who used to come to Mountain View every year, who lived in Colorado, the Popes. They call themselves the Pope and his wife, Glenn and Carolyn Pope. They sent this song to me from Colorado. And at the time that it came, I was right in the process of building a barn on my farm. I built a pretty big barn. My 2 boys helped me build it. They were homeschooled at the time. They were like 10 and 12 or 12 and 14. And it was nail bending 101 for those kids. But they helped me build it, and this song really means a lot to me because of that, as you will gather that as I sing it. And I really hope that someday, when they're maybe my age, they'll come back and see that barn they helped build when they were. It's called Mr. Beeford's Barn. It was written about a true story. August 1969, after evening chores, we went to see who stood outside knocking on our door. An old man stood there quietly, his hat held in his hand. He said, I'd like to have a minute of your time. You see, my dad and I, we built that barn in 1899. He said his name was Beeford as we walked across the field, and he told us how they'd raised the frame without a single nail. Just wooden pegs was all it took to make those timbers stand. Then he said, as his eyes looked far away, build it right, and it will last forever and a day. Mr. Beeford's barn still stands on our farm, where it stood 100 years before. Solid as the rock that it was built upon, it will stand 100 years more. He told us how they'd moved down south in 1921, where farming was much easier and the winters not as long. But he made a promise to himself to see the barn again once more before his life was done. Then he shook our hands and drove away into the setting sun. Late that night I gazed out of the window by my bed and out across the meadow while the moon shone overhead. The old barn stood there silver like a sentry in the night. Once more I heard the old man say, build it right and it will last forever and a day. Mr. Beeford's barn still stands on our farm where it stood 100 years before. Solid as the rock that it was built upon, it will stand 100 years more. Solid as the rock that it was built upon, it will stand 100 years more. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's a great song. It's almost been here an hour now, which is okay. I'm still doing good, and I got lots of songs on my list over here. And so I'm going to play just a couple more, and then we'll take a break for 10 minutes or so. If this is a good chance to escape, if you're wanting to get away, get a drink of water, use the bathroom. Gresham's got stuff back there. No popcorn, right, Gresham? No. Popcorn machine exploded a couple weeks ago, and that was that. I've got some CDs back there, and there's also a bucket back there to throw some money in if you feel like it. And if you do, get you a CD. Just get one, okay? I'm giving them away. I'm serious. If you want one of my CDs, help yourself. Only one per customer, please. Okay, I'm going to tell another poem, cowboy poem, sort of, that has to do with the change in nomenclature from the east to the west. You know, things that are called by certain names in the east are different out west. They all will be revealed, I guess, if you know that. The sign upon the, let me start again. The sign upon the cafe wall said, oysters, 50 cents. How quaint, the cowboy sweetheart said with some bewilderance. I didn't know they served such fare out here upon the plain. Well, sure, her cowboy date replied. We're really quite urbane. I suppose they would be Chesapeake or Blue Point, don't you think? No, ma'am, they're mostly Hereford Cross, and usually they're pink. But I've been so cold myself, what you say could be true, and if a man looked close enough, their points might well be blue. She said, I hunt them by myself out on the bay alone. I plucked them from the murky depths and smashed them with a stone. The cowboy winced, imagining a calf with her beneath. Me, I used my pocket knife and yanked them with my teeth. Oh, you're a brute, an animal. How crude and unrefined. Your masculine assertiveness sends shivers up my spine. I prefer a butcher knife, too dull to really cut. I wedge it in between the shells and crack it like a nut. I pry them out. If they resist, sometimes I use the pliers or even Grandpa's pruning shears, if that's what it requires. The hair stood on the cowboy's neck and his stomach did a whirl. He'd never heard such grisly talk, especially from a girl. I like mine fresh, the sweetheart said as she laid her menu down and ordered oysters for them both when the waiter came around. The cowboy smiled bravely, but the word stuck in his craw, and he finally fainted dead away when she said, I'll have mine raw. Yeah. Thank you. Mark's leaving. He's had enough. Okay. All right. This is a great song. This is from a great songwriter, and I haven't done a lot of his songs tonight, although I think I still will. I was saying we'll take a break in a little while, and then if you want me to keep doing some of this, I'll do another 15 or 20 minutes of songs. I've still got some really good songs to do. I got to get this back in tune though, because capoing up like that really knocks it out of tune. So bear with me just a second here. Same ones I changed before. Okay, this is from a great songwriter named Stan Rogers. Stan was from the eastern part of Canada, the maritime provinces. His people were fishermen and had a lot to do with the sea. And so he wrote a lot of songs about the sea, which we don't hear much of here in landlocked Arkansas. But this is a great song. It's about a salvage operation, because on the ocean there's a actual rule: if a ship wrecks and the crew leaves it, what's on the ship is open for anybody to get. You can just salvage it and get it for free. So salvaging is a big deal out on the East Coast. This is called the Athens Queen. We were drinking down to Reedy's house when first we heard the blow. Yeah, I thought I needed to do that. One more. Hang on. Sorry. Much better. We were drinking down to Reedy's house when first we heard the blow. It seemed to come from Ripper Rock, so boldly forth we go. And sure enough, a rusty tub could just be barely seen. As her stern was high up in the air, we made out Athens Queen. Oh, the lovely Athens Queen. Now, boys, I must remind you there's a bottle left inside. So let us go and have a few and wait until low tide. And if the sea's not claimed her when the glasses are licked clean, we will then put forth some dories and see what may be seen on the lovely Athens Queen. Some songs and old tall stories then came out to pass the time. And now our single bottle keep us all until low tide. And so it was before we left the house we were at sea. We could scarcely keep ourselves from falling off the Athens Queen. Oh, the lovely Athens Queen. Now Reedy goes straight down below and comes up with a cow. Hello, I said, now what would you be wanting with that now? You'll never get a cow home in a dory on such sea. Well, me lad, he said, I've always fancied fresh cream in me tea. Oh, the lovely Athens Queen. I headed for the galley then, for I was rather dry, and glad I was to get there quick, for what should I espy? Oh, what a shame it would have been to lose it all at sea. 40 cases of the best Napoleon brandy ever seen on the lovely Athens Queen. I loaded 20 cases then and headed for the store, unloaded them as quick as that and headed back for more. Smith was pulling for the shore, but he could scarce be seen under near 200 chickens and a leather couch of green on the lovely Athens Queen. So here's to all good salvagers, likewise to Ripper Rock, and to Napoleon brandy, of which now we have much stock. We eat a lot of chicken and sit on a couch of green, and we wait for Ripper Rock to claim another Athens Queen. Oh, the lovely Athens Queen. Thank you. All right, let's take a break for a few minutes and get you a drink or something. And if you want me to keep going, I will. But if you want to take a break, let's vote. Break. All right. Stand up. That's right. Move around. Visit with your neighbors. Gresham's probably got something to drink back there.
There's a heaven and a ringing in my soul, in my soul.
As I drive into town, feels like time slows down. All these memories flood in as I remember when we'd walk further down the Sycamore, closer than we'd ever walked before. Grab breakfast at the Rainbow Cafe. They still don't take card, but that's okay. And I remember who I am and who I was, driving down a dirt road just because. Yellow jacket football games, people that just stay the same. When I think of you, I think of good old Mountain View. Where the iris is in bloom and bluegrass grows, front porch debuts and country shows, and everybody somehow knows your name, and family and neighbors look the same. And I remember who I am and who I was, waving out the window just because. Playing music on the square, you can't do that just anywhere. When I think of you, I think of good old Mountain View. Old familiar faces you see at outhouse races, and the Jimmy Driftwood barn will always have a certain charm. And if you ever need a smile, stop by the little yellow house a while. And I swung the swinging bridge to scare you into a good night's kiss. Yeah, we've changed and we've grown, but it'll always feel like home. I remember who I am and who I was, jumping off the top rock just because. I remember that my mama loves me almost as much as God does. Lord, I know it's true, there's just no place like Mountain View. Yeah, yeah,
Well, I got a home on the other shore. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, you know I'll be there forevermore. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, I thank God there's a heaven and a ringing in my soul, and my soul's set free. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh. Better get to church and listen to the preacher. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, get right with God and he'll be your teacher. Can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, can't you hear Jerusalem? Oh, I thank God there's a heaven and a ringing in my soul, and my soul set free. Can't you hear Jerusalem oh? Well, brother, you better get right with God. Can't you hear Jerusalem oh? While here upon this earth do track, can't you hear Jerusalem oh? Can't you hear Jerusalem oh? Can't you hear Jerusalem oh? I thank God there's a heaven and a ringing in my soul, and my soul set free. Can't you hear Jerusalem oh? Can't you hear Jerusalem oh? Can't you hear Jerusalem oh? I thank God there's a heaven and a ringing in my soul, and my soul set free. Can't you hear Jerusalem moan? Thank you. Boy, now this next song that we're going to feature Miss Becky over here on,
I got a few more here. This is one you may have heard on the radio. It kind of got popular, 20 years ago or so. A song by Dan Seals, a great songwriter. Steve, you might know this one, I don't know. Ooh, there, that's better, isn't it? Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got to remember how it goes. Hang on a minute. She weren't much to look at. Yeah, I was afraid of that. You'd think I'd know where these songs are played by now. That sounds more like it. She weren't much to look at. She weren't much to ride. She was missing a window on her passenger side. Though her floorboards were patched up with paper and tar, I really was something in my old yellow car. An American boy with his hands on the wheel of a dream that was made of American steel. Though the seats had the smell of a nickel cigar, really was something in my old yellow car. Somewhere in a pile of rubber and steel is a rusty old cell of an automobile. And if engines could run on desires alone, that old yellow car would be driving me home. There's the seat where poor Billy threw up on his date, and where Larry and Sandy could no longer wait. There was no road too winding and no place too far, with $2 of gas in my old yellow car. Somewhere in a pile of rubber and steel is a rusty old shell of an automobile. And if engines could run on desires alone, that old yellow car would be driving me home. don't you look at me now, throwing money around. I'm paying somebody to drive me downtown. Got a Mercedes-Benz with a TV and bar. God, I wish I was driving my old yellow car. Somewhere in a pile of rubber and steel is a rusty old shell of an automobile. And if engines could run on desires alone, that old yellow car would be driving me home. A Scotsman clad in kilt left a bar one evening fair. You could tell by the way he walked he'd drunk more than his share. He stumbled round until he could no longer keep his feet. Then he staggered up into the street and slept beside the street. Something like that. Ring-da-diddly-I-D-O, ring-da-diddly-O. He staggered up into the grass to sleep beside the street. About that time two young and lovely girls were passing by. One said to the other with a twinkle in her eye, "See yon sleeping Scotsman, so broad and handsome built. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt. Ring-da-diddly-I-D-O, ring-da-diddly-O. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt." They crept up on the Scotsman just as quiet as could be, and lifted up his kilt about an inch so they could see. And there, behold, to their surprise, beneath his Scottish skirt was nothing more than God had granted him upon his birth. Ring-da-diddly-I-D-O, ring-da-diddly-O. 'Twas nothing more that God had granted him upon his birth. They marveled for a moment, then one said, "We must be gone. Let's leave a present for our friend before we move along." And as a gift they tied a blue silk ribbon in a bow. Around the bonny star the Scotsman kilt did lift and show. Ring-da-diddly-I-D-O, ring-da-diddly-O. Around the bonny star the Scotsman's kilt did lift and show. The Scotsman wakes to nature's call and stumbles towards a tree. Behind a bush he lifts his kilt and gasps at what he sees. And in a startled voice he says to what's before his eyes, "A lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize." A ring-da-diddly-I-D-O, ring-da-diddly-O. "A lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize." Yeah. You know, in Leslie, I used to have a building over in Leslie. I finally sold it here a while back, but Leslie's a really interesting town. It's about 30 miles west of here at the end of Highway 66. Huge history there. There's 472 people that live there now, and in 1926 there were 5,000 people. And the two largest barrel factories in the world, wood barrel factories, were in Leslie. And there was an old Dutch doctor who was down on Main Street, and he had his office upstairs over one of the stores. And this guy one time went up to see him, and he said, "Doc," he said, there's 3 things wrong with me. I can't taste nothing. I can't tell the truth. You know, I may have forgot this joke. Oh, and I can't remember nothing. So the doctor thought about it for a minute, and he got a couple of those big old gelatin pills, empty ones, and he went down the steps into the pasture behind the store there, and he found a cow turd, and he filled up that thing and filled 2 capsules up and took them up, and he said to that guy, he said, "Tell you what," he said, "put one of these in your pocket and pop the other one in your mouth and chaw it up good." So the guy did, and my gosh, he said, "It tastes like manure." Well, he didn't say manure, but that's what he meant. And the doctor said, "Well, we've cured 2 of your ailments already. If you get to where you can't remember this, eat the other pill." Yeah, boy. Okay, let's see. I got just a few more. Oh, let's do a banjo tune. I really like this tune. This is a tune that's bluegrass groups kind of got a hold of it, and they play it a million miles an hour, but I think I like to play it. It's kind of a plaintive song, so I like to play it a little slower. I ain't got no use for your red rocking chair. I ain't got no honey baby now. I ain't got no sugar baby now. It's all I can do, all I can say. Take it to your mama next payday. Take it to your mama next payday. Who'll rock the cradle? Who'll sing your song? Who'll rock the cradle when you're gone? Who'll rock the cradle when you're gone? Well, I'll rock the cradle and I'll sing your song. I'll rock the cradle when you're gone. I'll rock the cradle when you're gone. Some old rounder came along with his heart full of gold. Rounder came and stole my jelly roll. Rounder came and stole my jelly roll. And I ain't got no use for your red apple juice. Living on corn whiskey now. Living on corn whiskey now. And I ain't got no use for your red rocking chair. I ain't got no honey baby now. I ain't got no sugar baby now. I ain't got no honey baby now. Thank you. Another story. Mountain View, of course, was never this big as it is. Well, it was bigger actually at one time, but it's getting back up to its normal size. But when Mountain View was a smaller town, there were only two churches in town. There was a Baptist church and a Methodist church. And just about everybody in town went to one church over the other. The two preachers, they were good friends, and every Monday they'd get together and they'd have coffee together and they'd talk about how things went, you know, with the sermon and such the day before and what was going on with their churches. One Monday they were having coffee, and the Baptist preacher said, you know, he said, something's really bothering me. I'm really bummed out. And the Methodist said, what's that? And he said, well, someone has stolen my bicycle. And since everybody in town either goes to your church or mine, it means one of our parishioners is a thief. And I don't know what to do about it. Well, the Methodist thought for a little while, and he said, you know, tell you what, next Sunday, let's both base our sermon on the 10 Commandments. And we'll go down the commandments, and when we get to thou shalt not steal, we'll really scope out the audience well, the congregation, and we'll see if we can notice somebody who blushes or looks down, you know, or looks guilty. We ought to be able to do that. So Sunday came and went, and Monday morning they got together, and they were having coffee again, and the Methodist said, you know, yesterday I went down through the 10 Commandments during my sermon, and when I got to thou shalt not steal, I looked everybody right in the eye in my congregation, and not a person blinked. He said, so I'm really pretty much convinced that the thief is not a member of my congregation. And the Baptist preacher said, well, you know, I went down through the 10 Commandments too, and when I got to thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, I remembered where I left my bicycle. Yeah, you heard it here, folks. Okay, I'm going to do 3 more. I got 3 more. Oh, you wanted one. What was it? Oh! Okay, I'll get to that. Right now, I'm going to do a song.
Are you going to play that little miniature?
Oh, let's do that. Gosh, I forgot about it. It's so small, I didn't notice it down there. This is what happens when you wash your banjo in really hot water. Huh? That's right. This is actually a banjo ukulele. Thank you. This is a Jimmy Driftwood song about after the Revolutionary War. There weren't a lot of people in the United States compared to what there are now. a lot of men got killed during the war, so widows were in high demand after the war. So this is called The Widows of Bowling Green. Hang on. Oh, I went to old Kentucky in the year of 82, and Uncle Sam was just a young and hungry lad. The war had killed a lot of men and set the women free, and I had the widder fever mighty bad. I squired him in the country and I squired him in the town. Every gal I courted was a queen. I nearly lost the fever when a feller said to me that there ain't no widders left in Bowling Green. So hang up the fiddle and the banjo, put up the tambourine. The boys are all coming and they're taking up the land, and there ain't no widders left in Bowling Green. The widder fever settled in my old backbone. It got into my liver and my spleen. I nearly lost the fever when the doctor said to me, there ain't no widders left in Bowling Green. I ordered me a dozen from the state of Caroline, but I had the darndest luck you ever seen. The neighbor stopped the wagon train and took 'em every one, and there ain't no fiddlers left in Bowling Green. So hang up the fiddle and the banjo, put up the tambourine. The boys are all coming and they're taking up the land, and there ain't no widders left in Bowling Green. Big break. Thank you very much. Now I don't need a woman like I did when I was young, but it's getting mighty lonely on the shelf. If I could do without one for about 100 years, then maybe I could make it by myself. There's widders up in Jersey and there's widders down in Maine. They got 'em out and down in New Orleans. There's widders up in Canada and down in Mexico, but there ain't no widders left in Bowling Green. So hang up the fiddle and the banjo, put up the tambourine. The boys are all coming and they're taking up the land, and there ain't no widders left in Bowling Green. The boys are all coming and they're taking up the land, and there ain't no widders left in Bowling Green. Oh. There we go. See, I'm getting desperate to entertain at this point. Okay. I've been a fan for a long time of a Canadian songwriter named James Keelahan. James even been to Mountain View a couple times. We got him to come down here. I'm going to retune my guitar. Well, maybe I won't be doing that one after all. That's funny, too. I was coming down with it. It shouldn't have broke. Well, that leaves us with the banjo. Oh, my God. This is a bad sign. Okay. I guess since darn it, I'm really sorry that broke. Anybody got a guitar in their house? No? All right, I'm just going to take this off. And since my guitar broke, I really just got... That's all right. Stuff's falling off my banjo. It's a bad sign. Christine, you still here? I'll do a couple of songs for you on the banjo, and then I think we'll be done. This is a great song. It's a minstrel song from the 1800s. And I really like to think about somebody playing it on a riverboat. It's a song that covers a lot of territory. It covers the story of Noah's Ark and why the possum doesn't have any hair on its tail. A couple other things, too. Oh, boy, that was close. Now, hush up all you fiddles, for I'm tired of hearing you squawking. Be silent for your betters, can't you hear the banjo talking? About the possum's tail, I'm gonna lecture, ladies, listen. about the hair that isn't there and why that hair is missing. It's gonna come and overflow, said Noah looking solemn. Old Noah took the Herald and he read the river column. So he put some men to work a-clearing timber patches. Allowed he's gonna build a boat that could beat the steamer Natchez. Well, Noah kept a hammering and a chipping and a sawing, and all his wicked neighbors were a-laughing and pshawing. But Noah didn't know, 'cause he knowed what's gonna happen, that for 40 days and 40 nights the rain'd keep on dropping. Now Noah went and caught a lot of every sort of beasties. He beat the traveling circles and he beat 'em all to pieces. He had some Morgan horses and a pair of Jersey cattle, and he put 'em on the ark when he heard the thunder rattle. Now such another fall of rain, it come so awful heavy. The river rose immediately and busted through the levee. The people all was drowned except for Noah and the critters, and the man he had to run the boat and one to mix the bitters. Now Noah kept a-sailing and a-sailing and a-sailing. The lions got their dander up and nigh broke through the paling. But Noah didn't mind him, 'cause he knowed what's gonna happen. Oh, I did that part. Oh, the snakes they was a-hissing and the critters was a-fussing, and you could hardly hear the boatman a-bossing round and cussing. Now Ham, the only Arky what was riding on the packet, got lonely in the ark and he couldn't stand the racket. And so for to amuse himself he took some wood and bent it, and soon he had a banjo, the first that was invented. I love that rhyme, it's good. He took some tin and twisted it, made bridge and screws and apron, and fitted on a neck that was very long and tapering. He took some hen and hammered out a bell for to ring it, and then the mighty question came on how he's gonna string it. Now the possum had a tail as long as this that I'm a-singing, with hair so long and neat and strong, just right for banjo stringing. So Hammy shaved him off as long as wash day dinner graces, and strung him out all by the size from little E's to basses. Well, he strung her up and knocked a tune called Never Mind the Weather. It sounded like 411 bands a-playing all together. Some come to dance and some to pat, and Noah called the figures, and Hammy sat and knocked the tune, the happiest banjo picker. Now since that day there's not a sign of any hair a-growing, nor any hair at all on the possum's tail showing. Strange to the Arky's ways, as people never lost 'em, 'cause where you find a Arky there's a banjo and a possum. All right, one more since I've got the bell bango here, and that's it. This is a song I've done at the Folk Center 1,000 times. Nobody seems to get too tired of it. There's a part you can help me with. We'll sing. There's a little nonsense verse that goes, fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Let's try that. Fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. This is a true story. And before I do it, I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I really appreciate it a lot. Thanks to Gresham back there for running the sound and stuff. Good job, Gresham. Lights. Yep, and once again, thanks to all you for making this a great time. I've had a good time tonight. Here it is. There was an old man and he lived on the hill. If he ain't moved away, he's a-living there still. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Well, the devil come up to the farmer one day, said, one of your family I'm gonna take away. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Please please don't take my eldest son. There's work on the farm that's gotta be done. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. But you can have my nagging wife. By heaven, she's the curse of life. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. So he threw the old woman up on his back, and he went off to hell with a clickety-clack. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Well, he got her down to the fork. He got her down to the fork in the road. He said, "Oh woman, you're one devil of a load. Come fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day." Well, he got her down to the gates of hell. He said, "Stoke up the fire, boys, we'll roast her well." Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Come along a little devil with a ball and chain. She up with a slipper and knocked out his brain. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Two little devils come crawling up the wall. Two little devils come crawling up the wall. Said, "Take her back, Daddy. Make her over. Take her back, Daddy." Well, who remembers? Take her back, Daddy. She's going to kill us all. Fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Well, I love an audience that knows the words of the songs. Well, the farmer up and peeked out a crack. He said, "Oh my gosh, he's bringing her back." Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Well, the farmer crawled up under the bed, but she yanked him out by the hair of his head. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Said the devil, "Here's your wife. I hope she's well. If I'd kept her any longer, she'd have ruined hell." Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. I've been a devil most all my life, but I never knew hell till I met your wife. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. There's a moral to this story. This proves that women are better than men. To go down to hell and come back again. Come a fi diddle-I, diddle-I, fi diddle-I, diddle-I day. Thank you very much, folks. Appreciate you coming. Thanks, Steve. Thanks. Good to see you again. Okay.